friends. I'm going to be sharing the screen and dive a little bit deeper. On the. Excuse me, because I'm a bit dabbing in the Riverside app. Let's share our screen and go to the aforementioned page. So now you can see I'm looking at a team statistics, whereas I'm looking at all uh, all possibilities, having an odd of at least 1 to 1,000 liquidity. So these are all sort of settings I can use. I want I selected all choices, so this is a breakdown of filtering where you can filter a lot of stuff. So I want a market where the team is doing it 50% on average. You can see this to 100%. I'm not going to be breaking down. You can select value and all stuff like that. I'm looking at the current week, so the whole week, and the period. The period is from Tuesday 4th to Monday the 10th. And as you can see, there are two teams and one with a serious outlier. If I explain this, so this team, Balastir Kalsa, on average, they do this choice, meaning under 3.5 goals. On average, they do it 60.9%. But the current latest 41 games, they did not do that. So, and if you can see to the over, this means that it is over 25% over their maximum, because their previous maximum times not stood at 7 times and now it is 41 times, giving a very high valuation of 25 over the average. Secondly, there is this team, Yeni Malatai, and it's a double chance. In fact, they do it on average 43.4%. So the choice is to win or draw. Their previous maximum stood at 11 times, and now it is standing at 23 times. So 23 times in a row they did not win or drew, giving it a over average of 12.3, which is quite high. So if I change this to over, max over, you can see that it will change this, and then we're gonna see this is 4.3, 5.9. You can see 13.7, and if we are going back to the, you can see 12. There are three others, and they just recently fell. So if we switch back to times not, sorting in times not, you will see this number MMO to come here. You see 12.3 and 25. So I think it is about time to start playing this. The double chance for Yeni Malatai to win or draw, or Balastir Kalsa to have under 3.5 games. This is just a very small, how do they say it? It's a very small aspect of how to use Wet Assist. So I'm gonna be keeping it very short, and maybe I can take notes for it or add it as a choice to look forward to start betting it flat staking. Because if you go to this choice times not, it stood at 11, which is 100%, and it is well over it now because it is at 23. So at some point you see it is well below now. If you go for the latest, so let's make it 30, last 30 games, you can see on a graph side level, on average it is going down, because the last 30 ones, it only 3%, and they do it 25% on average. So at some point it's gonna peak, and it's going through the mean of 52. And of course, according to the odds we're gonna get given, we're gonna get a positive result or not. Look at this statistic. Um, 25 over. So 41 times, and the previous record was at 7. Let's quickly check. Ah, yeah, I have to check for this statistic. Times not. So this is at 60.86. It stood at 7, and it is at 41 times now, with a big over. So there is a big deviation from the mean, a big deviation from the mean. If I look at the last 50 games, it is 4%. If I look at the last 40, it should be at 0, you see? Because none of the 41 previous games had under 3.5 goals. So at some point, it's gonna be, if you see the how far it is from the mean, if you go look at any asset with a chart, it will go back to the mean and eventually surpass it during some time to get the mean again in, yeah, sort of balance. So this was just a short video. Okay, I have to do it again. Okay, I have to go back. If you can see here, I got a team statistic. I looked at all choices where they do the choice on average 50%. I do it for a team. It is looking at the whole week from Tuesday to Monday this week, and we can see that we get 2 outliers, namely Ballastir Khalsa and Yeni Malatai. Ballastir Khalsa, um, their choice under 3.5 goals. Now currently they did it 41 times in a row over 3.5 goals, and their previous record stood at 7. Looking at Yeni Malatai as a team statistic, that their choice, they do it 53.4% on average. Now they don't do it 23%, and the previous record of that choice was 11%. What is that choice? Well, Yeni Malatai did not win or draw for 23 times in a row now, giving a very high odd of 12.3, and this is a very high over. I do not see it many times this far, because if we switch this to let's switch it to maximum times not, you will see that this 25 12.3, this will become on top right now. We're gonna select or sort on a max not, max over, excuse me. I'm gonna change max over, and you see this will be around 12 13 maybe. You see 13 12 12 12, and these actually did happen with handicaps, you see. So very low odd, of course, because they do it 91% this choice, but you can see it's the max over can go this far. So if we switch back to the times not, and they will appear on top, then you can see that we get two interesting things to play, maybe. Bastir Kalsa under 3.5 and Yeni Malatay to win or draw. Why? Well, if we go to this choice, we can see it on a graph site. So in case of numbering, just in percentage, 100% previously they had an under 3.5 goals match ending, and now they are at 41, which is an enormous outlier. If you look at it from a graph site, going to the last 50, it still has a little, there it is 4%, but if we actually go look at the last 40, it will show 0. So out of the last 41 games, 0-1 ended under 3.5 goals, amazingly. So this is the average graph, the blue line, and at some point you can be sure that there will be a series of a lot of under 3.5 goals coming, and eventually overgoing this current line. So yeah, I think it is ready to play it. If we do the same for Yeni Malatay to win or draw, on a math perspective, the previous stood at 11 and it is now at 23 times not. So from 11, it doubled it almost. So we never know when it's gonna hit. If you do it on a graph side and we look at the last 30 games, only 3%. If we look at the last 20, it's going to be telling 0. So at some point here, you can see the deviation from the blue line. The mean, the average line, is way overextended. So at some point, it's going to return to the mean, go over the mean, and balance it out. So this is something I just wanted to point out very, very briefly. And yeah. I'm gonna restart.